Welcome to church, everybody. It's so good to have you with us online. Thanks for watching and tuning in. Guys, I encourage you to stand, lift your hands. Let's worship together. We got some awesome worship and a great message coming. So good to have you here. Thanks, guys.
See what I see? Do you see what I see? Oh, I see lightning, I hear thunder. Something sure is 6 feet under. Dead things coming back to life again. I believe there's about to be another resurrection. Oh, I see signs and I see wonders. I see bursts of living color. Dead things coming back to life again. I believe there's about to be another resurrection. Come on, let's put our hands together. Come alive, wake up, sleeper. He is risen. We are risen with him. Oh, hallelujah, it is finished. grave is empty. You know what I know. Anything is possible. You see what I see. That the grave is empty. And you know what I know. Anything is possible if you see what I see. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Oh, I see signs and I see wonder. Do you see what I see? I see lightning, I hear thunder. Do you see what I see? Something stirring 6 feet under. Do you see? I'm alive. Wake up, sleeper. He is risen. We are risen with him. Paradise, one wide open. He is risen. We are risen with him.
He's coming on the clouds. Kings and kingdoms will bow down. Every chain will break as broken hearts declare his praise. Who could stop the Lord Almighty? 'Cause our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow for the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. So open up the gates, make way before the King of Kings. 'Cause our God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. Who could stop the Lord Almighty? 'Cause our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. Who could stop the Lord? Who could stop the Lord Almighty? Who could stop the Lord? Who could stop the Lord Almighty? Who could stop the Lord? Who could stop the Lord Almighty? Who could stop the Lord? Yeah. Who could stop the Lord Almighty? Who could stop the Lord? the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. 'Cause our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him.
I'm holding on to faith, 'cause I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand, and I don't always get to see, but I will believe it, I will believe it. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, I will preach to my doubt. You are faithful then, you'll be faithful now. I'm standing on your word, calling heaven down to earth. You will fight my enemies, and this will faithful now. And I know that I know you never fail. Yes, I know that I know you never will. Yes, I know and I know you never fail. Yes, I know and I know you never will. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. I will speak to my fear, I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. I will speak to my fear, and I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. Faithful Father, sing worthy of every song. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. heart and lead me in your love to those around. Sing holy. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Oh, we love you, Lord. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Wow. There's really no one like our God, eh? There's no one like him. God, I just thank you for being here with us this morning, for your presence that's in this building, Lord. We receive blessings already right now, God, and we just thank you for being here. We thank you for the message to come. We thank you for the worship we just had. And God, we just give this day to you. We give our week to you. We just give our lives to you, God. So we just thank you for being here. We thank you that we can just so freely worship you, Lord. And thank you, God. Thank you for what's to come. Thank you, worship team. You guys are awesome, as always. Yeah, give them a round of applause. They're just amazing. I say it every time, like, for the size of our church, we have got like a really good worship team. The talent is unreal. So, always be thankful for that. Kids can be dismissed. Most of you know where to go. There is someone running the nursery today, so you can drop your babies off and enjoy service in peace. Right? Amen. That's awesome. All right. And if you're new here, if you're new watching online, or maybe this is like your second or third Sunday here and you never texted in for a free coffee, we want to give you a free coffee for being new. So it's for Starbucks, and it's like you get free money for texting, so you might as well do it if you're new, right? So yeah, the number's up there. Text out. We want to bless you with a coffee. And yeah, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about tithes. I was just reading something last night about let me get it out. What were the words that I read exactly? It was remember where your wealth comes from. And that doesn't mean like you don't have to be a millionaire to have wealth. Just anything that you have. Remember where that comes from. Remember where your accomplishments come from. You know, and everything that you've achieved, everything you have, where you are in life. And just, you know, you got to remember that all that we have, all that we've done, everything, we got to give thanks to the Lord for that. It all comes from Jesus. You know, and just one of the many ways that we can thank God and honor God just for what we have in our lives is by tithing, is by giving back to Him. So we just want to encourage you to, you know, just to tithe, to give back. It's a form of worship. And we're not saying it just because the church wants your money. Every church needs money. Amen? But like, that can't be where your heart is. And if your heart is in the right place of worship and of thankfulness and of generosity, that money is going to go so far. God's going to do amazing things with it. And God's going to bless you because of your heart, because of your giving heart. So I just want to encourage you, you know that it's going to a good cause. Know that you're going to get blessed out of it. And yeah, we just want to encourage that. And without further ado, it's up there on how to tithe. Okay, I always forget this. And every time I do the announcements, I leave them like, oh, I didn't even tell them how to tithe. So it's up there. You can text it, you can do it online, e-transfer, easy peasy. At the coffee bar when you're buying a coffee before you leave, you can tithe. So we'll invite Pastor Dustin up. I believe we're starting a new series today, right? So it's going to be really good. So give him a round of applause.
Yeah. Man, I don't know about you, but this summer was insane. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe your summer was like super chill and relaxed and you like just had a good time. It was like super busy for us. But I also don't know about you, but I have very high expectations about what God is going to do this fall. I really do. Like extremely high expectations. You know, Beth and I, we were talking, and This is actually, Beth and I started as the lead pastors here in March of 2021 in the middle of COVID-19. And then we were open for summer. Y'all remember that? 2021, we were open for good. Remember that? Lasted like not even till the end of summer. And had high expectations for last fall, and then something happened and we weren't able to do what we had high expectations to do. But this is actually our first fall where we have no restriction. This is our first fall as the lead pastors here, and as a church, since we've got here, that we have the opportunity to really step into the things that God has called us to do. And we have high expectations for this fall. And I'm already getting excited. I have two announcements I have to make before I even start preaching, but I started. Two announcements before. Number one is we have a worship team gathering happening. So if you are part of our worship team or you're interested in being a part of our worship team, we're going to be meeting at Tabitha's house, who was singing beautifully from right here a few minutes ago. We're going to be going to her house. Depending on the weather, we're going to have a fire. We're just going to talk about worship and what our culture of worship we want it to be and how we can continue to move forward. And so if you're interested in being a part of our team or you are a part of our team, I want to encourage you to come. And if you need the address, come talk to one of us, and we'd love to give you the address. We'd love for you to just be a part of that night. And the next thing is that next Sunday, September 18th, if you're interested in becoming a member of our church, and membership gives you the opportunity to vote on things, give you the opportunity to be more a part of what we're doing here. There's going to be a class that's going to happen right after the service. I want to encourage you to come to that class. Learn more about our church. Maybe you have some questions about what we do, what we believe. It's a great opportunity to come and just ask some questions as well. So that's going to be happening right after the service. We're going to have some snacks in there. We're going to have some coffee in there. It's going to be amazing. So those are the two announcements. Now I can start talking. But my mouth is parched, so I need some water. When you're speaking publicly and you have a parched mouth, it's really awkward when you drink water. And so I saw this pastor one time. Every time he drank water, he'd go, cheers. And it made it less weird. Anyway, I didn't do that. Wow. But we're starting this new series today, and I think we have a slide for it. It's a series we're called Breakthrough is Coming. And it was funny. So today, as I was preparing for today, not that it's funny, but God really had to change what I was going to talk about today while I was preparing. Today is September 11th, right? So today is a day of mourning, across North America, across our world, a day of tragedy that took place. And I was going to, preach on tragedy and how to deal with tragedy. But then God started speaking to me that really one of the best ways to break through tragedy is to realize that breakthrough is coming for you. Breakthrough is on its way. Breakthrough is coming. And I have high expectations that God is going to shift something. God is going to break something out in you and in your life and in your finances and in your health. God is going to shift something this fall. I really strongly believe this. And I don't think I'm the only one feeling this way. I feel like I've talked to pastors man, something's happening this fall. We don't know what it is. But we have high expectations that something is going to happen. And I think all of us, we need breakthrough in something. I think we all do. Some of us, we need breakthrough in our finances. We've been struggling financially for, so long, or I've been struggling financially for so long, and it's time for breakthrough. It's time to get the job that the door's going to open, and the job of your dreams is going to become your reality. Some of us, we need breakthrough in our health. Some of us, we got a diagnosis this past year that really shook us to the core. And I truly believe that God, this fall, is going to be stepping into a season where even as a church, that God's going to be bringing healing to our homes. Healing to our bodies. Things that have been aching us and ailing us for so long, we're finally going to find the breakthrough that we've been longing for, because breakthrough is coming, and revival, I truly believe, is coming. And revival, if we think about this word revival, really what revival is something that was dead coming back to life, right? I think a lot of us, we have things inside of us that God spoke to us years ago that we've let die, and I believe God is going to let those things come back to life this fall. The things inside of you that God has placed in you, ready for the future to create something beautiful, that those things God is going to revive this fall. That's what I truly, truly, truly believe. And revival and breakthrough are coming this year. And so we're starting this new series, Breakthrough is Coming. We're going to do real short, just 3 parts. We're going to be going through some 3 Old Testament stories and how these heroes of our faith, these legends of our faith, how they actually pursued and how they found the breakthrough. And today we're going to start with Noah. Now this is a story that, to be honest, even if you're brand new to church, this is your first Sunday, you probably know this story of Noah, right? This incredible story. And how God gave Noah this mission, this vision. He gave him this opportunity for something that And when I read the Bible, sometimes I think about, like, did God approach anybody else with this mission? We don't know, like maybe, maybe not, but did God maybe go to someone else and they said, no, that's not for me? No, I don't know. But, Noah, when he gets this mission, and I'm telling you, this mission is absolutely insane, like absolutely crazy, this mission that God gives Noah. And we're going to go through 3 questions together on how we can actually step through and find the breakthrough that we're longing for. 3 questions to ask ourselves this week and this month about what's going to happen. And so if you have your Bibles, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 6. And this is the story of Noah. And this is verse 9 says this. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, the only blameless person living on earth at the time, and he walked in close fellowship with God. The only blameless person living on earth at the time. That's a big responsibility. So Noah was the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now God saw that the earth had become corrupt and was filled with violence. God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupt. So God said to Noah, I have decided to destroy all living creatures, for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth. So again, there's 3 questions that I want to go through as we go through this story. This is what God approaches Noah with. Very exciting mission. Like for real, like everyone's going to die except for you. What a mission, right? I hope that's not my call, you know what I mean? Like I really don't want that to be me, but the first question I have for us when it comes to finding breakthrough is number 1 is, are you available? Noah, what happens is he hears God speak, right? He hears the voices. He hears God speaking to him. Not only does he hear him, but he's also available. How many times do we hear the mission, or we know the vision, or we know the dream, or we know the desire, or we know what God is calling us to do, but we're not available right now? Please call back later. Right, this is, I think, a place that a lot of us find ourselves, because what happens is we become so comfortable in what we're experiencing that God's saying, no, I have so much more for you in your future, but you have to be available for what I'm calling you to do. Are you available? You know what qualified Noah for this mission? It was not his talent. It wasn't his degree in architecture. Nice. Sorry. Anyway, I'm so sorry about that joke. That was funny to me, but it wasn't about his degree in making boats, right? It wasn't about his talent. You know what it was? It was about his character. Some of us are extremely talented, but our character does not match the mission God's placed in our lives. Our character has to match the blessing. Because if our character doesn't match the blessing, what we've been praying for sometimes actually becomes a curse. I've heard so many people, right? Their desperate desire is to get married. And they pray, God, I want to get married. 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 And then they get married and like, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I thought everything was going to change. And it does. It's not bad, but it's different. And you pray for something for so long that eventually when you get it, your character doesn't match it. And so you lose the blessing. How many times in our lives have we received something so beautiful, but our character didn't match what we got and we ended up losing it? Noah, what qualified him for this mission was his character, not his talent. In that verse, it has nothing to do with his talent. All it has to do with is that Noah, right, it starts with this. Noah was a righteous man. That's it. That was his qualifications to build the ark, was he was a righteous man. It all has to do with your character. Does your character match the direction you want to go? Does your character match the destination you feel God is calling you to do? Sometimes we haven't even heard God speak because our character is so far away from where it's supposed to be. We need to work on our character. I think this fall, if we want to see the breakthrough, we have to focus on listening to what God is speaking and be available to do what he asks you to do. Are you available? What this means to be available is you have to create rhythms, you have to create patterns, you have to create disciplines in your life to become available. You have to have patterns in your life where you actually have the time to be available. Some of us, We've gotten so busy with our schedule, and how many of y'all know the fall is so busy? It's like summer, like there's nothing happening, and all of a sudden, like every single day of the week, our kids are doing something else. Or we're doing something else. And it's like, man, like how do we even breathe? You have to create rhythms in your life. You have to create patterns. We have to create these. If we want to actually have the character to get what we feel God is calling us to do, you have to start today creating the patterns and the discipline so that way when you actually get it, you actually have the ability to not lose it. We see so many leaders get it and then they fall. They lose it. They lose everything that God helped them build. Why? Because their character didn't match it. Are you getting ready today for what God is preparing you for tomorrow? I think if God gave me the biggest desire and dream and vision in my heart, I would probably fall apart. I don't think I could handle it. Because I don't think I'm fully ready yet for the future that God has for me. Because the thing is if we don't keep our priorities straight, if we don't actually set up patterns that are going to make sure we're taking time for our relationship with Jesus, taking time for our relationship with our spouse, our relationship to our kids, you're creating different patterns in your life that are going to make those things fall away. You know, and I've seen this so much, and we're so good at this. We love talking, but we hate doing. Right? Like for real. I love to tell people that I like to do laundry. I hate it. True story. This is like really recent. I started doing laundry last week. And then I went into my washing machine 2 days ago and it smelled really bad. Almost like death, actually. Have y'all ever done that? Please don't tell me I'm the only one. Okay, please, okay. I was like, better not be the only one. Now I'm embarrassed, you know. But we love talking. Like I think I said this last week, but I don't know if you've seen this. People love to tell people their priorities, right? Again, we see this with like athletes or musicians. It's like always, they give me speeches like, you know, this is for Jesus, right? But then like years later, or like a month later, they're like getting arrested for like drunk driving. You're like, whoa. This happens a lot more than I think we wish it did. Because it's very different when you're saying your priorities than when you're actually living them out. Do you actually prioritize your spouse over your job? Do you actually? We say it, like we like to say it, but do we actually prioritize our relationship with Jesus over our income? And I'm not saying like don't work, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying what you spend the most time doing is what you prioritize the most. And yeah, we go to job, we get our 8 hours in, but what do you do in your spare time too? What do you do to rest? Do you have moments in your schedule where you actually just sit back and rest? And I'm not talking about resting by aimlessly scrolling on your phone. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about moments where you're actually finding rest. Not moments where you're just sitting on your couch watching the new episodes. But do you have moments with your spouse where you're resting together? With your family where you're resting together? It's funny, I find this fascinating in my own life. How many times do I see my daughter playing on the floor with her toys and I'm sitting on my couch looking at stuff that I'm not even going to remember the next day? I'm missing out on precious moments with my family because I've made my phone my priority. Because if we don't create patterns today for the future we want to build, you're never going to be able to hold on to it. There's this thing happening in our culture where everyone's getting burnt out. You see this so much. They say that during COVID, and you see this statistic, upwards of like 50, maybe not 50, like 20, I think it's like 20% of pastors quit during COVID. 10 to 20%. How many of us are just getting so burnt out? We're trying so hard. We're striving to build our business. We're striving to build it. And then when we stop striving, we realize we're left with nothing. Rest has to be a priority. Rest has to be a priority. If you want to hold on to what you have, rest has to be important. There's this pastor who was preaching every Sunday in Los Angeles and Seattle. Every Sunday. So he'd fly to Seattle after LA every single Sunday. He said he woke up one day morning, he didn't even know where he was. And someone said to him, he said, hey, the pace you've set for yourself is impossible to keep. It's impossible. You cannot keep this pace. And he said, no, but everything's going well. Like I'm working hard. People are getting saved. People are getting baptized. Things are happening. And he said, but you might not be there at the end. We have to create patterns in our life to make sure we actually are available when God is actually calling us. What rhythms are you creating in your life right now to actually have the capacity to hold on to what God is calling you to in the future? You know, if we continue on in the story in Genesis here, in Genesis 6:14, this is what it says. It says, build a large boat from cypress wood and waterproof it with tar inside and out. This is like very detailed instruction, right? And like most of these words, like if you work in construction, you probably know what this all means, but I don't know many of these words here, but then construct, I'm just kidding, by the way. Then construct decks and stalls throughout its interior. Make the boat 450 feet long. That's huge. 75 feet wide and 45 feet high. Leave an 18-inch opening below the roof all the way around the boat. Put the door on the side and build 3 decks inside the boat, lower, middle, and upper. Verse 17, look, I'm about to cover the earth with a flood that will destroy every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will die. Again, crazy mission. But I will confirm my covenant with you. So enter the boat, and you and your wife and your sons and their wives, bring a pair of every kind of animal, a male and female, into the boat with you to keep them alive during the flood. Pairs of every kind of bird and every kind of animal and every kind of small animal that scurries along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. And be sure to take on board enough food for your family and for the animals. Verse 22. So Noah did everything exactly as God commanded him to. The next question we need to ask ourselves, rather than are you available, number 2 is, are you prepared? You know, Noah didn't just listen and obey. No, he didn't just listen. He obeyed what God had called him to do. He started preparing for what was about to come. The thing that God had called him to do, he started preparing for it years before it actually took place. And obedience is extremely hard because it requires you to give up control. You know, it's hard to be obedient because we have to actually give up our control. Some of us were holding on so hard to what's happening around us that we don't even have opportunities to see what we actually need to have happen. And we actually need to learn to be obedient, not just listen. It's sometimes easy to listen. It's easy for me to listen, but it's hard for me sometimes to obey. Are you prepared? You know, there's this common quote, I'm sure you've heard this, but it says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Are you setting yourself up for success, or are you setting yourself up for failure because you're not actually preparing for what God has called you to do? And in Proverbs 3, it says this, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. That is really hard to do. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. See, Noah trusted God completely. Even though what Noah was doing was not logical, it wasn't profitable, and it wasn't practical. Like, it wasn't profitable. You know, it's interesting. Someone built a replica of the ark in Kentucky, in 2016. It cost $120 million to build. That's like absurd amounts of money, $120 million to build. What Noah was stepping into was not profitable, it wasn't practical, and it wasn't logical. Oftentimes what God calls you to do might not actually be logical or practical. To be honest, it might not even be profitable. When Jesus went to his disciples and said, hey, give up your career and follow me. Not a very profitable move. Not very logical. But it's the right thing to do. So what God calls us to do, if we want the breakthrough, what God asks us to do in that moment might not seem logical, but we have to be obedient and know that God is leading us somewhere. We don't even know what the destination might be, but in our obedience, we give up control and we step into the breakthrough that I believe God is calling us into this fall. Breakthrough is coming when we're obedient to the Father. We all need breakthrough. Stop trying to find your breakthrough on your own. Some of us, we know the door is closed and we get an axe and we try and break the door down. We're like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get what I want. What God wants might be different than what you want. I'm sure Noah didn't wake up that day and be like, you know what I want to do for the next 50 years is build a boat. Probably not. Yet that's what God had called him to do. Because it costs something to find breakthrough. It's going to cost you something. And I don't know what the cost is for you. Breakthrough oftentimes will come with a cost. The mission might come with a cost. Do you actually do what God is asking you to do? But are you putting the work in to actually do it? Are you leaning not on your own understanding, right? Trying to lean on our own mind, our own logic, our own mind of what we think we're supposed to do. No, what is God asking you to do right now? Because this is the thing, is that the things we worry about the most are the things we trust God with the least. The things that keep you up at night, you can't sleep, you're so stressed out about it, so worried about it. That's actually what you're trusting God with the least. Because we're leaning on our own understanding. My mind, when I'm have these stressed out thoughts, always my mind is, how can I solve this problem, right? I'm sure your mind does the same thing. We know the problem, and we stay up way too late and we're trying to sleep and we can't sleep and our minds are just racing, trying to solve a problem that might not even exist. We've created the own problem in our own mind. And we're saying, no, God is saying, no, lean not on your own understanding, and then peace will actually come in that moment. Why? Because we've given up the control. We're preparing for the future and giving it to God's hands. Breakthrough is going to come when we give up control. Because if your future is worrying you, it may be the future of our nation is worrying you, the future of your children or the future of your relationship or the future of your job or the future of your business is worrying you, it's time to start trusting God in that area more. Do you trust God? Do you trust him with your future? Do you trust him with your children? Do you trust him with your business? Do you trust God? Noah trusted God so much that he looked like an absolutely insane human being. Like can you imagine walking past the guy building a boat that you've never seen? Be like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm building a big boat. God told me to do it. Like, you sound insane. But that's when breakthrough comes, is when you're just obedient. It might seem weird, but God will bring it for you. I think when we look at the end destination, like what you need breakthrough and what's the end destination, do you have the capacity to hold on to it? Because you need to prepare yourself right now for the future God is leading you into. Because again, does your character has to match your dream. Some of the best athletes, musicians, and actors are not the ones with the most natural talent. And you see this if you're a sports fan like I am. I'm a huge sports fan. NFL season starts today. I'm fired up. Fantasy leagues, it's going to be amazing. That's why I'm fired up for the fall. So I'm just kidding. Oftentimes, it's so interesting. You see in drafts, so if you see the NFL draft, the NBA draft, the NHL draft, oftentimes some of the highest drafted players only last 3-4 years in the league. Why? It's because they didn't actually put the work in to stay at that level. If you stop working to get better, somebody's going to surpass you. The people who work the hardest, the people who work on themselves and their character the most, they're going to get to the place you want to go before you if you stop working on yourself. Are you growing? Are you preparing your character now for where you want to be? If you want to be a business owner of a massive corporation, you better make sure your character is right in that. Because how many times do we see these guys fall away? They break, they burn out. You're not strong enough to carry that weight by yourself. You're not strong enough to carry your dream by yourself. You're not strong enough to carry the breakthrough by yourself. We need people around us. We need God to be a part of the story. Can God trust you with the breakthrough? Can God trust you with the miracle? It's a big question. And I think about myself, am I actually at a place where I can actually be trusted with this miracle? Where I can be trusted to lead a church? This is what I think about. Can God trust me? And if we can continue on this story, it'll lead us to our last question. But then God said to Noah, leave your boat. This is after the flood. They came in, they sent out the birds, right? Leave the boat, all of you and your wife and your sons and their wives, and release all the animals, the birds and the livestock and the small animals that scurry along the ground so they can be fruitful and multiply throughout the earth. So Noah, his wife and his sons and their wives left the boat. And all of the large and small animals and birds came out of the boat pair by pair. First thing Noah does as soon as he leaves the boat, then Noah built an altar to the Lord. And there he sacrificed burnt offerings to the animals and birds that had been approved. I love that part. It's so funny. It's like, that one's okay, you know. Those dinosaurs, no chance, you know. Just kidding. Anyway, I just imagine like a T-Rex on an altar. Anyway, it's just my mind. Yeah, sorry. I've been watching a lot of dinosaur stuff recently. My mind's on. So Noah built an altar to the Lord, and there he sacrificed his burnt offerings, the animals and birds that had been approved for that purpose. And the Lord was pleased with the aroma of the sacrifice and said to himself, I will never again curse the ground. This is the breakthrough. I will never again curse the ground because of the human race. Even though everything they think or imagine is bent toward evil from childhood, right? I will never again destroy all living things. As long as the earth remains, there will be planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. That's the breakthrough. The last question is, if you want to see the breakthrough, do you know God is faithful? Do you know God is faithful? Have you seen God provide before? It's interesting that Noah, he builds an altar, right? A place to remember. Some of us, we've forgotten the miracles we've already received. We've forgotten the breakthrough we've already had in our business or in our family, and we've forgotten about it. And so we get to the next one, and we're like, God, I don't know if you can do this one, right? This is pretty big. He's like, look what I just did. If you remember Elijah, right? It's a prophet in the Bible. He's having this like epic battle, right? And he calls down fire from heaven, and it like literally disintegrates an altar. And then what happens, it says that someone was chasing him. So what did he do? He ran away and hid in the cave and wanted to die. Sometimes we get the breakthrough and we realize that maybe it wasn't even enough. I'm going to invite our piano player up here. Do you know God is faithful? Do you remember the things he just did? It's so easy to forget the miracles, right? It's so easy to forget how faithful he's been. It's so easy to forget. And maybe you're newer to faith. Maybe, this might even be your first Sunday hearing, about this message. Maybe you've never actually experienced a miracle before. Maybe you've never actually experienced God being faithful to you before. I believe this fall is your moment. I believe this fall is our moment. To know that God is faithful. They say, again, it took Noah anywhere from 50 to 75 years to build this ark. That's like a full career. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like you working from like 20 to, or like 18 to 68. Math. 68. That's a long time to be waiting for breakthrough. That's a long time to be patient. That's a long time to be obedient. That's a long time to be hammering about and people making fun of you and saying what you're doing is wrong. Why are you doing this? And it says violence covered the earth, right? What was happening around Noah while he was building this ark? What was happening in the world when there was so much violence? God decided it's best to destroy everything and restart. What was happening around Noah in that moment? Imagine just looking around, there's violence everywhere and you're just here hammering about, right? With your family. Year after year, day after day, decade after decade, waiting and waiting and waiting, being patient and patient and patient. Noah was the old man building a boat. He's like a few hundred years old, right? Like he's an old man building a boat. But in my opinion, there is not a greater feeling in my life than the feeling of victory. when I've put in the work. I've prepared myself. I've prepared my mind. I've prepared my family. I've prepared my business. I've prepared myself for what God is leading me to for the victory. There's no greater feeling than when breakthrough comes and we actually experience what we dreamt about years ago, what God placed in our minds, the vision and the dream and the purpose, and we finally see it. And we say, this is what I've been waiting for. Finally, I get the healing I've been waiting for. Finally. You have to remember, God is so faithful. God is so faithful. God will bring the breakthrough. He brings the promise. Breakthrough leads us somewhere new, and the somewhere new has its own challenges. So interesting. I was reading this week, right after Noah's Ark, boom, Tower of Babel. What happened at Tower of Babel? They're building a tower to get to heaven. God's like, no chance, and now they're all speaking different languages. Happened again. Happened again. What's on the other side of your breakthrough is another thing that you need breakthrough in. Right? Breakthrough is beautiful. Remember what he's done, but remember that when you find breakthrough, the challenge ahead of you is probably going to be bigger. What you need breakthrough for next is probably bigger than what you just experienced. We go from breakthrough to breakthrough, from victory to victory. We just keep going forward and say, God, I trust you. I'm obedient. I'll be patient, and I will go forward into the future that you're calling me to have. He was faithful then. He was faithful when my mom was sick. He was faithful when your kids were sick. He was faithful when you were sitting in the hospital holding your child, not knowing if they'd make it through another day. He was faithful then. And the outcome might not be what you want. You know, I don't think Noah wanted all his friends to die. Like, this is probably what he wanted. The outcome might not be what you want. The outcome might not be what you desperately desire. But he will be so faithful. You know, I think, like, I've seen God's faithfulness so real, and the things I've seen, and, you know, I think I've maybe shared this story before, but, you know, when Beth was pregnant with our daughter, Jane, middle of COVID, right? We'd have, you know, ultrasounds. I couldn't even go in the room. I wasn't allowed to go in the room. And you know, just before this, we had a moment where we didn't know if our daughter was going to make it. We didn't know if our baby was going to make it. I think we all have, you know, stories where we got some news that we didn't want, and we didn't even know what to do. And so Beth and I were talking, and, you know, we get this news and we literally go right to work, and we go, you know, put on this, like, it was like right around Christmas, we go put on this, you know, Christmas event, December 2020, just before COVID. And, you know, there's something that comes when we're desperate for breakthrough. Something happens. Because what we need breakthrough in is often the things we can control the least. We can't control the diagnosis. Like, I can't control not knowing if my baby's gonna make it. I can't control that. You can't control the economy. You can't control gas prices. You can't control what governments do. You can't control it. This is what Isaiah 54:17 says. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed. And you shall refute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is my favorite part. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication for me, declares the Lord. It's the heritage. Those of us who follow Jesus, this is our inheritance. This is the promise. There might be weapons formed all around us. You might feel like you're in constant turmoil, constant battle, but no, breakthrough is coming. This is our past, When he was faithful then, this is our present, he'll be faithful now, and he'll be faithful in our future as well. Because our takeaway today is that breakthrough is coming. Are you ready? Some of us were so desperate for breakthrough. So desperate. And I want you to know it's coming. Don't give up. You know how many moments did Noah probably want to just quit? Lumber prices were just through the roof, right? I'm just kidding. But how many times do we want to quit in the middle of the battle? If you're going to quit, quit after you win. Quit after the victory. But don't give up. Don't quit. Ask for help. Seek guidance, because this is the truth. Our God is a healer. Our God is a provider. Our God is peace. Our God is love. Our God is joy. Our God is a God who provides for your deepest need. Our God is a God who heals the hardest of hearts. He will comfort you. He will meet you. He will take care of you. He will love you. He will always be there. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep fighting. I know it's hard. I know it's lonely. I know it's scary. I know. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you need breakthrough, and I don't know. You know, some of it I know, but I don't know all of it. Keep fighting. Keep going. Don't give up. You know, this year, our God friend Harold here, I think it's 19 years sober this fall. Yeah, 19 years. That's longer than some of us have been alive. That's a miracle. That's breakthrough. And I'm sure you have stories like that in your own life. Breakthrough after breakthrough, victory after victory. And if you can't see the breakthrough for yourself, celebrate someone who's experiencing it right now. Celebrate other people. I don't want to go too long, but I think we've got caught in this trap of comparing our breakthrough to someone else's. And we say, God, like they got the outcome they wanted, why didn't I? Stop comparing and start celebrating other people's breakthrough. That's going to grow your faith more than being upset somebody else has what you want. Celebrate other people. If we want to grow in deep connection, deep relationships, we need to stop comparing our lives and start celebrating other people. Don't go through it alone. Don't have what you need breakthrough for yourself. Beth and I went to our work that night after we found out this news. Nobody even knew we were pregnant. She was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant. I'm learning. We didn't, no one knew. That's the hardest place to be. The hardest place to be is a place where you need breakthrough, you need the victory, and you're so alone. Don't go through it alone. Keep fighting, keep going. I know it's hard, I know it's lonely, I know it's scary, keep going. And this is where I truly believe we are as a church as well. I truly believe we are on the verge of something breaking out in our midst. And not just our church, I'm talking about churches in our city, in our province, in our nation, that God is going to break something out this fall in our midst. And it's going to be beautiful to see what He does. We have a huge gathering that we have planned coming up on October 2nd. That's the weekend. That's the weekend of our 29th anniversary as a church. 1993, our church was planted. 1993, September, I believe it's September 29th, 1993. 29 years. So we have this gathering, it's going to be called Come Back Sunday. On October 2nd, 10 a.m. This is a gathering dedicated to the future that God is speaking to us as a church. A place of vision, a place of purpose, a place of direction, a place of focus, a place that is gonna be new, it's exciting, and we're so excited to lay out the things that God has placed on our hearts. For years and years, we've been waiting for this moment. This is not, this is not like erasing the past, but it's building on what God has done in our church 29 years. We hear stories, and I've only been here like a year and a half. I haven't been here 29 years. God has done some amazing things in our midst, in our church. We've seen marriages restored. We've seen people get baptized. We've seen people find Jesus. We've seen babies dedication. Like, we've seen miracles. We've seen kids who ran away come back. The stories that I hear are absolutely beautiful. So I want to encourage you, October 2nd, this is a Sunday you don't want to miss. And this is a Sunday you want to bring somebody with you. And we're going to be having a barbecue in the back. We're going to be having some jump houses for kids. We're going to have some games outside. It's going to be amazing. We have Pastor Paul Just, as our overseer for Victory North, is going to be coming down, being a part of our gathering. We've invited some of our old pastors to be a part of it. Pastor Ron Donato is planning on coming. And we've invited Pastor Jonathan to be a part of it, who's our most previous pastor before me. It's going to be amazing. We cannot wait October 2nd. I want to encourage you to invite somebody to be a part of it, to be a part of the celebration, to be a part of the things that God is doing in our church. So invite somebody that needs to know Jesus, who needs what God is doing here. Because breakthrough is coming to our church. Breakthrough is coming for you. Breakthrough is coming for our city. Breakthrough is coming for your family. Breakthrough is coming in your finances. Breakthrough is coming. Let's stand together. We're gonna sing a song, one last song with our team. This song we sang earlier is called Faithful Now. And as you think about this, as we sing this song, think about, what is the area in your life that you need breakthrough most this fall? What is that one area? What do you need breakthrough the most in right now? And as we sing this song, remember that He was faithful then and He'll be faithful now. He'll be faithful in your future. He'll be faithful in your family. He'll be faithful in your finance. He will be faithful. Breakthrough is coming. Breakthrough is coming. So Father, I thank you that today, as we sing this song about being faithful now, God, I thank you that will become our story, that we will remember how faithful you were, and we will know that breakthrough is coming in our life. Faithful now, in Jesus' name, amen. So let's sing this song with our team.
I'm holding on to faith, 'cause I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand, and no, I don't always get to see, but I will believe it, I will believe it. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. I'm standing on your word, calling heaven down to earth. And you my enemies, and this will end in victory. And I will believe it, yes, I will believe it. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, and I will preach my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. And I know that I know you'll never fail. And yes, I know that I know you never will. And I know you never fail. Yes, I know that I know you never will. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, and I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now.
Yeah, this fall, God's gonna do something beautiful. I truly believe it. He was so faithful then. He's been faithful for 29 years, and I believe he's gonna be faithful for 29 more. And then 29 more. That's what I truly believe in. I also believe he's gonna be faithful in your situation, whatever it is. And you know, I wanna encourage you, if you need prayer today, come for prayer. I would love to pray with you. I would love to stand with you. I'd love to celebrate with you. I'd love to be there for you so that way you know that I'm fighting with you. You're not fighting alone. We as a church, we're a family. We're fighting together. We're fighting for you. So I want to encourage you, next week we're going to continue the series. Breakthrough is coming. I want to encourage you, maybe bring somebody with you. It's going to be another great Sunday. We love you. And again, just two things. Number one is this Wednesday, if you're interested in worship, be a part of that gathering. Just come find one of us, maybe Tabitha right there. You can get her address. Love to be a part of that. And then we have our membership class happening Sunday. Love for you to be there. But again, if you need prayer, come forward. I'd love to pray with you. We'll see you next Sunday morning.